Welcome to The Vault, where we reveal some of the best kept secrets for success. Our show is designed to introduce you to industry professionals in TV, movies, music, sports, and business. Now, our goal is to learn from a wealth of information and use it to realize your dreams. Today's guest is a professional singer who grew up as the daughter to award winner Brenda Russell. Now she's on tour with music legend and Grammy winner Smokey Robinson. Introducing Lindsay Walker. All right, everybody, welcome to The Vault, where we teach you the best kept secrets that live right here. And today I'm so excited to introduce a guest that this actual interview is a decade or more in the making. We have Lindsay Russell, who is probably one of the best singers that I know. And we're going to ask you a bunch of questions today about how you've gotten to where you are. I mean, I know that when I first met you, I heard your music and I was like, I need to talk to her. I need to shoot her music videos. We need to be friends. And we did. We shot some great music videos all over Los Angeles. And now you are up for some amazing greatness. So let's start at the beginning. I want to know about your backstory, Lindsay. I know that you grew up, in music, and if you could elaborate on that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. My parents were like up and coming musicians living in Canada and thought that they should move to Los Angeles if they were really going to be serious. So they made a few albums. They used to sing background for like Elton John. They were really unique because they were an interracial couple in the 70s, which was kind of new. And then, so I kind of, in utero, I was around, some really great music. And then, that relationship didn't work out, although the music was great. And my dad ended up remarrying someone who was also in the industry. So I kind of came up, really like it was water, the not just music, but also the television and film industry.
So kind of talk me through, I mean, your mother is Brenda Russell.
Correct.
She's a Grammy nominated and Tony Award nominated
my mom,
artist, I guess.
She's amazing.
Yes.
She, she's a songwriter, also a performer, has written hits for amazing artists, and people from Alida Adams to Luther Vandross, who just passed recently. And she now has a Broadway musical called The Color Purple that she wrote music for. And they're about to make that into a movie. Steven Spielberg directed the original movie, and now they're going to make a movie musical that Steven Spielberg is going to be attached to as well. So this is really exciting stuff that my mom...
Wow, so what was that like growing up? I mean, did you ever go like on tour or go on the road with her?
Yeah, when I was like 8 years old, I did a summer tour with her and Billy Ocean by bus. And and as an 8-year-old, you don't really understand how cool it is that you're on tour. For me, the most exciting part was like when the bus broke down in the middle of nowhere. I thought that was neat.
That would have been fun. You're just seeing how everyone deals with that conflict. And has that happened to you growing up? I mean, have you been on tour? And I mean, actually, we're going to get to that. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Sure.
You had talked about how, your father had remarried. And what our audience doesn't know, which I know, is that he remarried a Charlie's Angel. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so my stepmom, she's phenomenal. She's really my second mom. She came into my life when I was still a baby. And my stepsister and I grew up, as not really feeling like stepsisters, but just sisters. But yeah, so she was on a hit television show when I was a kid, and which was kind of cool. Like, at school you kind of had bragging rights, but we would try to go out for dinner, like at the Hard Rock Cafe or something, and people would be approaching her for her autograph and that kind of thing. So sometimes as a kid it was an inconvenience, but still kind of exciting.
All training ground for your greatness, right? I mean, just getting you all,
hard
the balance.
That's to follow in for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think you're doing a great job. So tell us about your love of music and what is the best part of that? I mean, how you use your music to just kind of inspire people.
Yes. I think music is so unique as a way of communicating, because really it's just another form of language. You know, it's a way that we interrelate with one another and kind of share what we're feeling and receive, you know, what other people are feeling and experiencing. And I think it helps us to kind of understand our commonness, that, you know, even music from the other side of the world we can relate to and be inspired by, be moved by, in a way that words by themselves can't, you know, connect us.
Can you talk to us about now where you have evolved since we last met? I think you were just starting this new exciting journey with Smokey Robinson. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's, you know, what an honor. You know, I sing background for a living legend, right? He is not only very talented, a prolific songwriter, but also a really nice guy. And yeah, I started working with him almost 15 years ago and worked with him for a few years, had the time of my life, and then decided to start a family, which, you know, there's only so much you can juggle, you know, being on the road and raising kids, especially when they're really young. So I took a hiatus for about 10, 12 years. And actually the young woman who had replaced me on the tour ended up moving on, and they asked me back, which was, you know, it was a huge sacrifice at the time when I gave up that job. But, you know, never in a million years did I think I'd get that phone call of like, hey, we'd love to have you back on the tour. So I've been back with the tour now just over a year.
That's great. So tell us some adventures that you've had with Smokey Robinson.
Wow.
Give me some good ones.
Yeah, you know, I think the most fun is the unexpected things, right? So you end up doing these strange things, like they used Smokey in a movie, a Queen Latifah movie. So they flew the whole band to Prague, and we got to do a scene in a movie of a Smokey Robinson concert. But one of the cool things is the Super Bowl happened while we were in the Czech Republic. And so we were in this old hotel in this like remote town, and they opened up the ballroom at like 3 in the morning, and they found this projector. And so I found myself watching the Super Bowl with what's his name? Oh, he's an old rapper, LL Cool J. And Queen Latifah, Timothy Hutton, and I'm like sitting in this room and watching the Super Bowl in Czech, thinking, again, never in a million years would I have thought that this was something that I was going to experience, you know. And then parts, like remote parts of our own country that I would have never gone to on purpose, but, you know, you find you really enjoy these little towns and these people that, you know, you wouldn't go to on purpose, but really are very rich.
So a lot of our audience is just getting started, let's say, in the music industry. What are some other things that you can tell them as far as where you are now compared to where you were before? Like some other inspiring anecdotes you can give?
Sure. I think, you know, tenacity is key in any kind of entertainment, because you know, it's just such a small funnel of people that get the exposure, and it has not to do solely with how good you are at what you do, but I think being professional oftentimes trumps your ability even. So I would say to focus on not just your skill, which is important, but also your professionalism. I think one of the reasons why they had me back on the tour wasn't that not that they couldn't find a better singer, but because, you know, you build a rapport, you get along with people. And people want to work with people that they want to work with. So that's a big part of that you don't hear people talk about as much. I feel like in the industries that ultimately, you know, it's a company. It's people that you're working with day to day, and you want to be a person that people want to be around.
So we have your home audience here, right here, you know, around the world, watching this as we speak. And we're just going to take a little bit of time for some of their questions, if that's cool with you.
Great, yeah.
The first one that I see here that they have is, how do you balance being a mother and an entertainer?
Okay, definitely. I mean, you heard me share about, you know, having to take a break. And I think, you know, prioritizing your family can be hard, but you know, it's a balance, and you know, I don't regret for a minute, you know, that decision to really invest at home. And I think having a family is really fulfilling, and I think as an artist, you want to be able to work out of something that matters to you. So, and at the same time, I think with kids, if your whole life is wrapped around them and their experiences, I think it's also important to be an example of, you know, not just being able to tell them, hey, you guys can follow your dreams, you can do anything, and don't be afraid, you know, go after things. And if you're doing that, I think it's a much better, you know, more is caught than taught sort of thing.
So tell me, like, you know, when you do talk to your kids, what do you tell them, and how do you embody that follow your dreams? Like, just go a little deeper into that.
Sure. Yeah. I think I encourage them to be courageous. I encourage them to, you know, be creative, be out of the box, be unconventional. And I don't want to necessarily force them into any kind of, you know, I don't know if my kids are going to be artists, you know, but whatever it is that they want to do, I want to fortify and, you know, kind of support them in the direction that they're choosing, rather than kind of superimposing what I think they should be, you know, interested in or doing, spending their time on.
So what would you say would be some of the biggest challenges that you faced as an artist slash mother? What are the things where, like, that you've been really, like, wondering, how am I going to get out of this? Like, how, you know, where you've been stuck? Tell our audience, our millions.
Yeah, I think personally, those times have been when, you know, when you're in the thick of, you know, child rearing, for instance. You know, there were times when I had 3 kids under 5, and I was moving from Los Angeles to Austin, Texas, across the country, and, you know, reestablishing. And there wasn't a lot of time for myself, for my own, you know, for my music or pursuing, you know, my own interests. And there are times like that where it really is all about them and all about just, you know, taking care of your foundation. And in those times you can get, I don't know, maybe hopeless, you know, like you just can't see, like, is this something that's ever going to be a part of my life again? Or is my life as an individual over, essentially? Like, am I just a mom? And I think those were the hard times of just, you know, kind of surrendering to that when it's time to surrender to that. And now I am bearing the fruit of, you know, having invested that time and now finding more freedom creatively.
So are you basically articulating, like, finding that work-life balance? That was the biggest challenge you had? Because when you were younger, you were so focused on your music, and then you had to switch gears, and then now you're kind of at that balance. Is that what you say?
Yeah, definitely.
Our audience has I guess always there's a component of charity, and they're asking if you do any charity work.
Yes, I do some, you know, I volunteer with my church family. There's always opportunities to give there. One of the fun things that I do, another tour that I do here in Austin, is I work with a retired teacher named Joe Farley, and he goes to convalescent homes weekly, and we call it our lunchtime cabaret, and we just do a set of standard jazz songs, old songs that these people appreciate.
Very cool.
And, you know, it's not like the most, you know, we kind of throw it together. It's, you know, it's fun, but the people really enjoy it. We don't get paid. It's a volunteer gig, but in some ways it's way more enriching. You know, these people don't get a lot of people coming and paying attention to them even. So
I think that would be great. When I'm old, hopefully you'll be around and you can come. Well, you'll be old too.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe you should just start recording. You can record those now, and then I could just hit play when I'm older, and I'll be like, all right, this is a good jam. Jam it out.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but is there anything you could sing for our audience? I want them to get an idea of, like, how talented you are. I mean, we're just talking, but, like, really, I remember once again, that first time I heard you sing, I was like, holy moly, like, I couldn't believe it. And that's why I went right up to you. I don't know if you remember, but I went right up to you.
I remember meeting you. I was with
What was your impression? What was your impression?
Alex is the most, like, he's so full of life, and like you were so inspiring to me because of you're just so fearless, you know, and I feel like I've always seen you, even from a distance, just going after what, you know, you want to achieve and accomplish, which I think is kind of contagious. So I've always appreciated that about you. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Look what I found.
Hey, we got a special guest. Oh, the special guest is the guitar. Love it.
Yeah. So I've been trying to, you know, let's see, put some things together.
All right. Coming to you live right now, Lindsay Walker.
Hopelessly helping her harlequin hovers nearby, awaiting a word, grasping at glimpses of gentle true spirit. He runs, wishing he could fly, only to skip at the sound of goodbye. It's a little
Love
fake.
it. Like I said, I mean, I've been waiting for a decade to hear you sing again, and it's a special treat, and I'm glad our audience got to get even a little teaser. Maybe we can
Sure.
include some links in the video of some other great songs of you singing. Maybe we could have you do that grown-up song from so long ago.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know if I remember it. Oh yeah, we did a video. That was so much fun.
Yeah, we went all over LA and shot you singing about growing up, and I think now we're on the tail end where you have grown up and you are no longer that young musician singing. You're still young, but you know what I mean, like just starting out.
Funny. Yeah,
You know what I meant.
I think we're always growing up, aren't we?
I guess so. So I know we did talk about it a little bit, but I want you to go a little deeper on some of the vault secrets that you have, because like I said, this show is called The Vault, and the best kept secrets, unfortunately, are usually kept in here, but we're having our guests pull them out and extract them for our audience. So you had talked about being tenacious. Maybe you can give us some other insights on what someone like the 20-year-old version of you would have loved to hear.
Yeah, I think when you're young as an artist, you're often seeking approval, and you're kind of basing, or I was anyway, I was kind of basing my work and what I was doing on if people thought it was good enough, and kind of trying to measure myself with other artists or other, you know, I would go out and hear this like phenomenal band play, and then I want to go home and throw my guitar away, like I'm never going to be that good. But I think what I've come to appreciate is, you know, that there's something that you can bring that no one else can, and whether it's you know, and in some ways you can't, you know, really compare it. And I think what's most important is that you're fulfilled by what you're creating, and that you're enjoying it, and that, you know, believing in yourself, you know, because if you're waiting for someone else to give you permission, you'll never just jump out there and just do it, you know? And I think even that process of jumping out there and doing it makes you better and more confident. So, yeah.
Yes, just be fearless, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think you just got to do it. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, I think also, okay, I can share about something else that I was told when I was younger, which was, you know, I was into different parts of performing. Like I loved acting and I loved music, and I had different passions, even for things like spoken word. And at the time, people were telling me, you know, you can't be spread thin. You have to focus. You have to find one thing and put all of your energy into that. And now looking back, I would say, don't do that. I would say if you have passion about something, you know, find a way to I think media has changed that as well, where I think it's more of an asset to be versatile, and to have, you know, different tools in your work box. And I think like that has really served me, because there's times where I wasn't making money doing music and I was doing commercials and having a lot of fun doing that. And, you know, maybe it wasn't the most creative outlet, but at the same time, I'm doing something that I enjoy with people that I enjoy and kind of paying bills with that. So, you know, don't be afraid to experiment with different things.
So would you mind just speaking right to the camera and just giving a pep talk to anyone who's having a hard time, you know, living the grind as a musician or singer?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, keep your eye on the prize. Make sure that you're doing what you're doing out of a belief that what you're doing, what you have to contribute matters, you know, not because of its quality, but because there's something that you can lend to everyone that again, that no one else can. And so don't rob other people, of, you know, your unique ability or your voice. There's so many things to be said. There's so much inspiration that's needed. And so don't be afraid to just give what you have to give, and don't judge it too much.
I love it. We're so grateful for you having, you know, being on our show. Finally, we just want to ask you, where do you live online? Where can our audience find you? Sure.
You know, I also don't, I've stopped sort of apologizing for being a family person as well as a professional. So that life is kind of meshed. So you can go to my Instagram, LC-Walker3, and kind of see me on the road, see my sound check posts that I like to post from all over the world, and my family too. So yeah, I'd love to connect with everyone that way.
Love it. Say hi to Jonas, your husband, and the kids, and so excited to see you again and reconnect. And definitely don't be a stranger. Let's continue to have talks like this where, you know, once again, you're inspiring others to become great. And we're very thankful for you being on the show.
Thank you. Great to see you.
All right. Later.